My bad. My bad. I know Christmas is next week. I'll get back to the regular program.
Greetings and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the roundtable. Today is Tuesday, December the 16th, 2025. Bonsoir, comment ça va? I am Drew, and welcome to week 15 of the National Football League and week 16, the final week in the regular season of the college football season for 2025, where we had the Heisman presentation and we also had the final regular season game between the Army Black Knights and the Navy Midshipmen, representing the two oldest services in these United States of America. And they put on a very tough, defensive-minded, close game, as many of us expected. And we'll talk about that for a quick hot minute at the top of the show. But before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. From wherever you are in this world. You could be doing anything, but you chose to spend a little bit of time with myself and Griff and talk some football. And what happened this past weekend, we had some very interesting games, some exciting games, some surprising games, some disappointing games for certain fan bases, where playoff dreams that were clinging to dear life got extinguished, some harshly, some where it's going to cost you more than just a playoff life or a playoff appearance this year. But we'll talk about all of that. Griff, how are we doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
Hey, what's going on, my brother? I was doing good till I seen all this AI stuff that Jordan and concocted and put together. But hey, man, look, grandbaby is here. As you know, I always get excited when grandbaby here, and plus when it's Tuesday and it's time to talk football, man. So just glad to be here. Good evening to the roundtable family, glad to see y'all here. And let's get started, man. Let's go and get this out there.
Let us get into it. A big shout out to the Navy Midshipmen at the top of the show. They did win the Commanders Cup this past weekend by beating the Army Black Knights, earning the Commanders Cup to remain in Annapolis for another year. And I want to give a special shout out. Yeah, good job, Navy. We'll get y'all next year. Go Army, beat Navy always. But I want to give it a special shout out to the Lyman Up Media Group for the phenomenal work that y'all have been doing. I thought that was a live representation of my brother Griff. AI is taking over, man. I know y'all still them boys. Maybe that's your doppelganger out there who also is a Cowboys fan. So either way, phenomenal job on tonight's intro, and a special shout out for the job that you did on Friday night's intro. Salute to the services with one of my favorite songs of all time from Mr. Phil Collins, In the Air. So let us get into what is in the air tonight. The biggest game this weekend was up in Foxborough. We talked about the importance of this game for both of these teams. The New England Patriots were looking to clinch the division against the defending five-time division champions and to get one step closer to the number one seed in the AFC. We know what was on the line for the Buffalo Bills. We knew that Josh was going to bring his best effort. We knew that the Buffalo Bills had the ability to come and score a lot of points in spurts, which is what happened, which is how this game flipped on its head after New England built a 21-zip lead. We both thought this game was going to be close, Griff, but we were on the opposite sides of the fence as to who was going to win this game and why. The home field advantage, which usually works, especially for a team that is a double-digit winning team, usually works. The New England Patriots were riding a 10-game winning streak. Drake may be an MVP candidate. Everything was going right. But some way, somehow, we knew Josh was going to be able to bring that noise, and bring that noise he did, leading his team back from 21-0. He did not have a eye-popping game himself, stats-wise. So what happened from that Mike Gravel defense, Griff, that you always tout, to where they gave up 21 points in the second half, or a 21-point lead after building that lead up, to lose a critical game that means just as much to them as it did to the Buffalo Bills?
Hey man, it's a tale of two halves. Like I said, I think they came out and they stuck to the script that they had for this game, and they came out there and they did their thing. But in the second half, I just think sometimes teams have these leads and they don't think that they can be caught, and they take their foot off the brake, man. They take the feet off the brake. I mean, the Patriots, just like you said, Josh Allen didn't have a big numbers game. May didn't either, but their running game on both sides was doing their thing, man. And for me, I just think that the Patriots took their foot off the brakes. I mean, they put their foot on the brakes. They took their foot off the gas, and allowed Josh Allen and that team to come back. Don't want to take nothing from the Bills. They made their adjustments at halftime, and I guess they found some areas where they can exploit in the second half.
That right there. It's all about coaching when you're in these types of games, these small coaching adjustments that you are able to make in real time from series to series or quarter to quarter, and definitely making major halftime adjustments when necessary, which is what the Buffalo Bills needed to do, showed the grit that the Buffalo Bills have. And I talked about on Friday night that this was their opportunity. This was their window, since the other Goliaths in the AFC seem to be tripping over their own feet and are not going to be able to represent in the playoffs. You said the Patriots took their foot off the gas. This game and every game, it's about matchups, but it's more about momentum within the game. And the momentum shift within this game wasn't about matchups. It wasn't about big eye-popping plays from either the offense from the Buffalo Bills or a lack thereof from the New England Patriots, because the New England Patriots still had that offensive and running success in the second half. I don't believe they took their foot off the gas. It was just that opportunities were exploited by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills offense in the second half, and those coaching adjustments that you mentioned that were made by the Bills caught the New England Patriots off guard. And before they knew it, they were down and they were playing catch up, going score for score, and time simply ran out. I don't think the better team won. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are a better team. I don't believe that the New England Patriots are a better team. If these teams played again this weekend, you could have the same result or you could have another result. It just so happens that Buffalo knew the importance of this game, understood that this was a must win if we want to make it to the playoffs. And this is the type of game where no holds are barred. And we put everything on the line. And some way, somehow, we figured that Josh Allen was going to be able to come through. And guess what? Josh Allen came through. The Bills are still just one game back in the division race. They're not giving up hope to come back and still win this division and take it away from the New England Patriots, because they have a big game this upcoming weekend against a team that's fighting for its playoff life as well. So don't automatically assume, like I said on Friday, because I didn't know the schedule, that the Patriots are going to win the division this weekend, because they have a big one coming up this weekend against Baltimore in Baltimore. So looking forward to the rest of the schedule for these two teams and to see who actually makes it to the finish line as the king of the AFC East. If if, and that's the biggest two-letter word in the English dictionary, Griff. If the Buffalo Bills were to come back and some way, somehow win out the rest of their games and New England stumbles either this weekend in Baltimore or one of their final two games, and Baltimore or Buffalo comes back and wins the division, do you think Josh Allen should repeat as the MVP?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's gonna be. I'm not, again, man. I mean, look, hey, Mahomes ain't there. He gone.
Mm-hmm.
The do what he done with this team, with basically it's just him and Cook. That's it, because they really don't have no receivers or nothing like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
And that would be a legitimate conversation to have between him and Stafford, because right now Stafford is the odds-on favorite if Los Angeles keeps winning to win the MVP, especially if they beat Seattle on Thursday and go on to win the division. So we're going to re-engage in this conversation if New England Patriots stumble this week.
And I know we got to get to the Rams, and Harry, you do bring up a good point, because Stafford is that guy that I really think had an MVP type season. How bad is the injury to Devontae Adams? He messed his hamstring up, but I know we're gonna get there, so we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. Let's the next big one, right? I talked about the bell of the ball on Friday night. The Green Bay Packers for the NFC were the hottest team in the NFL, according to some people, depending on the perspective you were taking, either from the defensive side or the offensive side. They were going into a 11-2 team into Denver in December as the favorite. Well, we know about the Micah injury, but even before the Micah injury, the offensive success that we were not expecting from the Denver Broncos was there. Did they surprise you offensively, or was this a lack of defensive ability to take advantage of what was presented to them from the Green Bay perspective? And
I'm going to say this, man.
Turnovers.
When I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong or getting up here and acknowledging the fact. I said the difference between these two games is going to be the quarterback. That's what I said on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix probably played the best game of his life this season.
Really?
I mean, when I say that boy was picking that Green Bay defense apart, his leg extending drives and stuff with his legs and stuff like that, man. Some of the passes that he made, I ain't seen that Bo Nix. It surprised the hell out of me. So, yeah, I was surprised by the play of the offense. I knew both defenses was going to be good, and the score don't even let it be known, but it was a defensive game too.
It was.
I mean, on both sides, and to watch them guys play. But man, I have to give credit what credit is due, man. Bo Nix did his thing this weekend.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Denver's chances going forward here in a minute, but let's dig into how Micah's season-ending torn ACL injury is going to affect the Green Bay Packers and whether or not they will be able to make it to the finish line, or whether or not the Micah injury doesn't really affect their chances of making the playoffs and having a deep run. What do you believe the Packers need to do, especially this game that they have coming up this Saturday against Chicago Bears for the division lead and most likely the division title? If they lose this game, several weeks ago, I said I don't think the Green Bay Packers are even going to make the playoffs.
Man,
Whatever
they lose this game.
If they lose this game, they are teetering on not making the playoffs. What do you think the Packers' chances are going forward?
Brother, I'm going to be honest. That Packer defense, with Michael Parsons going down and being gone for the rest of the season, that changed the game up for them. I mean, they got some players and stuff over there, but I really don't think it's the defense side of the ball that you got to be worried about. It's the offensive side of the ball, and that daggone Jordan Love. I mean, Josh Jacobs did his thing this weekend, passing and running the ball, but it's the Jordan Love that can continue to give away turnovers. When you don't need them, that's when they have a tendency to pop up. I think they lost. They might have lost Reed again. It was either Reed or Watson. One of them got hurt. That's going to be a significant emotional event for them. But they got to win. They want to be in the playoffs. They got to go. They got to beat Chicago. Chicago is the hottest ticket in their division right now, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but they are. They're down, but that's what they got to do. They got to win if they want to stay in there.
Yeah, the Pack are, I won't say in trouble, but there is definitely cause for concern. Why both Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love thought it was cool to go ahead and challenge Patrick Surtain, I don't know. You touched the fire to see if the fire was hot, and yes, you did receive confirmation that the fire was hot.
It's just
I don't
it's
get it.
disheartening to watch these out. It's disheartening to watch my Alabama boys have to play against each other the way they do.
Man, get over that. But the Green Bay Packers are still possibly a Super Bowl favorite, but no one will be surprised if they don't make the playoffs. That is where we are right here, right now with these Packers. They could have a Super Bowl run, but they could also miss the playoffs. I am erring on the side of them missing the playoffs. If I believe that, obviously, I believe that they're going to lose this game this weekend against the Chicago Bears Saturday night. We'll talk about that at the tail end of this show. But they're in trouble because Jordan Love is too unpredictable. He has MVP qualities, but he also has Danny Dimes qualities. So no trust there. Now, the big game of the weekend for me, the most exciting game that I wanted to see this weekend was this game right here between the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions. The 3-1-3 traveling to La La Land to take on a Rams team that was not only fighting to be the NFC number one seed, but of course to have a leg up on Seattle as the division leader. The Rams are who we thought they were, as Dennis Green would say, by having an offense where we knew that the Detroit Lions had a challenge this weekend defensively because of the 12 players on the IR. But the way that Puka Nacua was just tearing it up, it makes it look easy.
It make you forget about Cooper Kupp.
It does.
That boy is a beast, man.
And
he fast and his size. He a big boy too, man.
Mm-hmm. So where do you think the Rams go from here? Well, not the Rams, but the Detroit Lions, based on how this game played out, especially since we kind of figured it was going to play out this way. What does the Lions need to do at 8-6 to give themselves the best chance to make the playoffs?
They got to
They're
win
still
out.
one of those teams
They on the outside looking in right now. They gonna have to win out and hope that Chicago go ahead and do what they do and beat the Green Bay Packers this weekend. To basically get them a chance up in there. I'm just gonna be honest, because they on the outside looking in right now. I was shocked in this game that we always talk about the dual-head monster with Detroit, the two running backs, but the better running backs in this game was actually on the Rams side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see that much about Montgomery. Montgomery and Gibbs were really not a factor. The St. Brown had a good game. Williamson had a good game, but they was able to and that was the difference in this game because Detroit wasn't able to control the game with their running game or whatever. Matthew Stafford was out there; he was just cooking. I mean, it's like he couldn't miss. And the defense was put. They got Jared Goff the happy feet at the back end, and near the end of the game, Jared Goff got them happy feet going because they was putting that pressure on him.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Right. We know that Devontae is probably going to sit out this game against Seattle, even though that this game is an absolutely critical game. I believe that the Los Angeles Rams are good enough to play well enough to win this game without Devontae Adams, but they're playing in Seattle. And we'll talk about that game a little later on in the show. But for the Detroit Lions, Man, sometimes the NFL schedule works out perfectly at the beginning of the season, and we have phenomenal games at the very beginning of the season where it seemed like a lot of them were going into overtime or last second kicks that decided these games. And the tail end of the season is just as good, where every game in week 14, 15, 16, and 17 seems to have implications tied directly to it. And the Lions' next game is not any easier because they play a team this upcoming weekend that is also in a battle for its playoff life, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk about that game a little later, but they need to win out and get some help because a 6-loss team might sneak in as a 7th seed. But you lose any more, you're definitely done. They have the ability to beat anybody in the National Football League. We know that. But they also have a defense that is riddled with injuries, with 12 starters or 12 defensive players on IR, multiple other injuries. And it doesn't get any easier. They are playing at home this upcoming weekend, but we'll see how they unfold. Great win for the Los Angeles Rams. It keeps them right on track. The momentum that they're going to need for the rest of the season, and they're going to need to bring it every single weekend. Now, speaking of the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks needed to keep up with those very same Los Angeles Rams. Coming into their time was a coast team that is hobbled with multiple consecutive losses, bringing in a 44-year-old quarterback that hasn't played an active down in 5+ years, going against one of the best defenses in 2025 with a defensive-minded head coach. You would have assumed that if it wasn't Jonathan Taylor left, Jonathan Taylor right, Jonathan Taylor sweep left, right, flat pass, the offense was going to be vanilla, which lets me know as a defensive head coach, I can bring all of the smoke that I want because I know what you're going to call. Bruh, this was the complete opposite. Seattle created more questions with this win than answers with this win. Are you surprised by how well Mr. Rivers played? Because he didn't really play well. But or are you more surprised as to how poorly Seattle played?
Seattle won is, believe it or not, I know we was looking for them to score a whole bunch of points, and I just thought they was going to have a sack fest over there. They only sacked them one time. But the only reason why they won this game was because of their defense. Because, hell, they didn't do much over there on the coach side of the ball, to be honest. I mean, Philip really barely had like 120 yards. And really all he did in this game was hand the ball, like you just said, Taylor left, Taylor right, pass to Taylor, check down to a tight end or whatever. Looked like he was pushing the ball. But all the Seahawks with that high power offense that they didn't show all year was able to do was kick field goals. I don't know if they played to the level of their competition, but this is scary for them, man. Because hey, at the beginning of the season, we was like, hey, they the beast in the West. And now you got the 49ers look like they peaking a little bit, and the way Matthew Stafford them doing what they doing, hey, Seattle could easily be like, hey, we had a good season, but they might be going to Galveston, man, and with that dirty water.
Man, that is absolutely amazing that we are sitting here right now going into week 16, right? Yeah, going into week 16 and talking about a 11-3 team possibly missing the playoffs if they lose the rest of their games or a couple of their games, because that is how tight it is at the top of the NFC. They are playing for a whole lot this upcoming Thursday night against the Los Angeles Rams. And the Los Angeles Rams is bringing an offense that can do a whole lot more than what the Indianapolis Colts did to y'all this past weekend. I got it. Every game is different. It's all about matchups. We are division rivals. We know each other so well. This game is going to be a very close game, but it's going to require you putting up points. It's going to be a close game, but is going to require you putting up points offensively. The defense is going to do as well as you would expect up against a top-notch offense in the Los Angeles Rams. They're in the top 3, top 4 scoring. They're in the top 3, top 4 with yardage. So expect Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, with or without Devontae Adams, and that dual-headed running back monster that seems to be getting stronger every single week, to have offensive success, to be able to sustain drives. Okay? So Seattle has to make sure that their offense learns from that 6 field goal performance that they really needed to win this game, because the story, if y'all would have lost this game, I got it. Phillip Rivers would have gotten all the accolades, 44-year-old coming back winning after 5-year layoff and everything. But the real story would have been the collapse of the Seattle Seahawks. And if you don't watch yourself as an 11-3 team, you could be on the outside looking in by the end of the season. So you better be ready on Thursday. We're gonna talk about that a little later. So you're absolutely right.
Sam Donald, he started to look like the Jets, Sam Donald, man. I thought he was seeing ghosts out there. I ain't lying.
Man, I don't know.
Coach got a good defense, man. Coach got a good defense. That, but yeah. Last ditch hope. Let's go and get in there.
Go on, click that light off. Go on, click that light off. Go on, click that light off, because it's over. Teddy told y'all to turn off the lights. And guess what? The Los Angeles Chargers took that responsibility very seriously. They adhered to the guidance that they received by going into Arrowhead and turning off the lights. The Kansas City Chiefs season is over, not in a way that they would have wanted, getting a 1-2 punch to the gut. Not only do you lose your chance, your hope, your dream of making it back to another Super Bowl in 2025, but you lose the best player that your organization has ever had the privilege of having, that Kansas City Chief helmet on his head and the jersey on his torso. Patrick Mahomes suffered a season-ending torn ACL. And when I say season ending, the season is just about over. It's more about the 2026 season and how long it's going to take for him to get back onto the field. He's already had the surgery to repair the torn ACL. So the recovery process has already begun. Kansas City is done. We know that they were done. Teddy told us they were done. We just had to see it. Thank you, Justin Herbert, for finally showing up to win a big game. First one in your career, my guy. Even previous playoff games that y'all collapsed in. This was your first opportunity. Knew it was going to be tight. Knew that the environment was going to be hostile. You were going to have to earn it. It wasn't going to be pretty. Los Angeles did what they were supposed to. Griff, what are the chances that the Chargers really, really have an impact in the playoffs if they are in at the end of the season?
I mean, the way Herbert and them been playing, man, they've been winning by the skin of their chin. The way the other teams in the AFC is playing right now, I mean, they'll make the playoffs, but I don't know how deep they're gonna go. I haven't seen that on the offensive side of the ball for the Chargers to make me think that they can go deep in the playoff run.
So if they do win, right, and they lose the division to the Broncos, and they end up being the 5, and say, let's for it, well, they're going to go to the AFC North. Can they go to Baltimore and win? Can they go to Pittsburgh and win? I would think that they could. And every January, what do we say? Dome teams can't go up north and play in the cold weather. They're a dome team from Los Angeles. Perfect conditions. Can they go to Pittsburgh? Can they go to Baltimore in January in the cold, in the elements, and get a playoff win?
I really don't think so, man. I mean, honestly, the offense was playing a little bit better. Maybe they do have some defenses. Even as bad as the Ravens and Pittsburgh been playing, I still think that cold weather will be a factor. Just like we're gonna be talking about Miami later. They can't play. These teams, they struggle up there in that cold weather, and the Chargers ain't no different.
Man, I hope that scenario plays out because I want to see whether or not Justin Herbert has really stepped into the expectations that many football fans have had of him since he entered the National Football League in 2020. So
I just think it's Herbert though, man. I just don't think they had the pieces on offense to do it. You got to think they lost their running game. I mean, Lav McConkey is they basically their number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Keenan Allen over there, but the running game is. I just don't see it.
Okay. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if that happens. Man, everybody was looking forward to this next game on Sunday night. Everybody expected certain things from both of these two teams when they showed up on Sunday night.
Next slide.
We, them boys. One of the best offenses in the National Football League in 2025, especially when they're playing in the comfy confines of Jerry's world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Vikings have a quarterback who has all of 3 starts under his belt. And I'm being a little facetious here. But he is a rookie who has not shown that he is starter quarterback worthy in the National Football League, to be honest. He's still learning. Well, we knew that the Dallas defense was somewhat suspect, but we expected Dakota Wayne Prescott and CD and the others to do what they were supposed to do and put up at least 35 to 40 points. I asked Griff on Friday night, what does Dallas need to do offensively? Specifically, I asked about Dakota Wayne Prescott and that offense. What do y'all need to do to make sure that this game is not even close in the third quarter? What'd you tell me, Griff?
I said we need to score touchdowns and not kick field goals. That's what I
What
said.
y'all do, Griff?
We kick field goals, and we missed field goals. we was 2 for 5 in the red zone, and we missed. And I mean, but you know what? As much as Auburn been playing, I can't even be mad, man. It was bound to happen, man. But I said it, and I mean that's why I say big shout out to Joy, man, because he showed captured that on the reels that he put out there. I said we can't afford to be getting down here in the red zone and not score. And what we do, we get down here in the red zone and we can't score. We kicking field goals.
Yeah. Moment of silence for the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, we still got a chance.
There is a 0.75 chance that the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs in 2025. So if you are a betting person, take those odds.
Yeah. Until we officially, it's teams that have been officially eliminated. We have not been officially eliminated yet, so we still got a chance.
And what are the requirements for the Dallas Cowboys to make the playoffs, you may ask? Philadelphia has to lose the rest of their games. Dallas has to win the rest of their games. And Dallas would be 9-6-1. Philadelphia would be, y'all would be 10-6-1. Philadelphia would be 10-7. And you would win by half a game because you have that tie with the Green Bay Packers. 99.99999% chance that don't happen. So don't bet no real money.
Man. Hey, some aliens gonna come down here and they gonna take the whole Philadelphia Eagle team up the field. The problem is, man, the problem in this game, honestly, all jokes aside, man, our offensive line was really, really bad. Those 2 tackles, man. I mean, you already know that Minnesota is one of the most blitzing, one of the most pressure teams in the league, and to say that we didn't prepare for that is sad, man. I mean, that put his numbers up. He did what he had to do, but still, what happened? He didn't have time to get the ball to those receivers because them boys was coming.
See, what had happened was when we talked on Friday night, I advised Coach Schottenheimer to go back to that daggone Minnesota-Detroit game, pull that tape. Look at the defensive approach Coach Flores took, because guess what? He going to come at you the same way. I guess he didn't listen to me.
He didn't, Drew. He didn't see the show, man. Somebody need to get the link to him. Hey,
Send Coach Seidenhammer the link, y'all. Maybe for 2026, because it's not going to serve him any good in 2025 if he's still trying to make the playoffs. But as Griff said, there is a chance. Cowboys, you're not out just yet.
Yeah. Look, we got again. Look who happened to be on here when you Adrian Rankin happened to be on here when we talking about the Cowboys, man. He the 50 cent of daggone the round table, bro. He
Really?
just petty. He's just straight petty.
Man, I tell you what, though. Before we move on to the next game, in all seriousness, the Dallas Cowboys had the opportunity to not only have a successful season, but an impactful season. A season where you could have made it to the playoffs and you could have won one or two games in the playoffs. If only I had a brain. If only I had selected a defensive coordinator who showed that he was
awful,
warranting a defensive coordinator position. He was a terrible head coach. And how do you reward terrible head coaches? You by hiring them as DCs, just like Dallas did, just like Chicago did. But your defense was garbage the entire year. You tried. I give Jerry Jones credit at the trade deadline to kind of right the ship by allowing the best player to get away. But these windows, Griff, you know just as well as I know, they open and close just like that. Dak is in year 9, which means, he has about 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 good years left in him. Your window is closing. Your offense is on point. What do the Cowboys need to do? Be obvious, to address defensive gaps to ensure that we start looking for 2026 right now because this is the last time we probably going to see it. I want to give you all the opportunity you can because this is probably the last time we're going to see the Cowboys on the show.
It's all good, man. Hey, again, I know we're going to have a new defensive coordinator at the end of the season. I'm shocked he made it this far. I'm just shocked he made this far, man. Hey, the Trayvon Diggs, them things is done. We need to go out there and get us a secondary that's worth a hill of beans, man. Because I can tell you, I like what I got up front. Up front looked pretty good, brother. But I'm telling you, I mean, them receivers was running. When I say J.J. McCarthy he wasn't never tested. All he had to do was just throw the ball up, man. The receivers out there all by themselves. I'm like, man, this is just blowing my mind. They was getting pressure on him, and this dude just sometimes some of them throws were just looked like Steph Curry just shoot with his eyes closed, and the receivers all by themselves.
Yeah, no. What kind of defensive scheme is this?
Yeah, it's wild, brother. It is wild, man. And I mean, with the picks that we got, hopefully we pay Quinn Williams. I like Williams. I like Clark. I like those. That's probably the best 2 acquisitions Jared did in a long time. But we got to show up that second, and we need some line. Lord, I ain't even gonna talk about linebackers. Lord, that damn Murray, they got to go. Luke Wilson, got to go, man. That's what the focus of this team needs to be on that defense. Honestly, get a good defensive coordinator in there, but definitely some quality defensive players, and just go ahead and pay George Pickens and them guys what they deserve, and let's just make this thing happen. Because like you said, the window is closing. Dak is in his 10th season. And so, he still look good. Dakota still look good to me. Joker can say Joker wouldn't be talking about Dak if he was on any other team. But since he with the Cowboys, he get all his heat. But that
right. And understandably so. He's the face of the Cowboys. If not for his lack of success, would be the face of the National Football League.
Troy said the defensive scheme has been mastered by the Raiders. The Raiders got our same defensive scheme. He said it takes a lot of time. They team that lost 31-0 2 weeks in a row. That requires talent.
That requires talent. Yeah, no, you're right. But for the Cowboys, they are effectively done in reality for the 2025 season.
Yeah.
Dak deserves the smoke. He's the highest paid in the National Football League, $60 million a year. He's a $60 million man, so he should be able to overcome some of those gaps and shortcomings that you've identified on defense and have been there for a very long time. So we talked about the lights being turned off earlier on the Kansas City Chiefs. Teddy said turn them off. So we adhere to Teddy Pendergrass's guidance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to refer to one of the greatest defensive backs in the history of the National Football League and a Cowboy legend. Prime time himself knows what to do. Cue my theme music, Jordan.
Turn off the light and light a candle.
Yeah, turn them off, Griff. Cowboy season is done. We are no longer going to be required to hear "We Them Boys" until.
As long as I got breath in my body, you're gonna always hear "We Them Boys."
All right, man. From one team getting their heart broken to another team still hanging on to their dear hopes and dreams and on life support. This was a complete surprise for me. I know that the Baltimore Ravens are a better team than the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025. These are actually, in reality, my second and third favorite teams in the entire league, simply because of the players that are on those teams. But the Baltimore Ravens going into this game knew that this was a must-win game. Going into this game knew that the possibility of them losing this game was more than fair because of their lack of their inconsistency on offense and defense, and the probability of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and or the entire Cincinnati Bengal offense having a lot of success against their defense because they've done it in the past. And the likelihood of that happening at home for the Cincinnati Bengals was more than good. Well, the final score tells you that the Cincinnati offense didn't even show up. Hollywood Joe is not arriving in 2025, and that has frustrated him. That has frustrated the entire team. We talked about head coaches that are on the chopping block. To be honest, in reality, both of these head coaches' jobs are on the line. Zachary Taylor is most likely going to lose his at the end of this season, and depending on how the Baltimore Ravens finish up this season, John Harbaugh, it could be time for you and Mike Tomlin to get traded for each other, like I suggested way back when in February. It could happen depending on how this season ends. That would be the perfect thing for both teams, in my opinion. Griff,
You saying flip-flop? You saying flip-flop?
Flip-flop. Just do a flip-flop. Bring Mike to Baltimore, send John, or have John go over to Pittsburgh, and just let's keep this whole thing going. That's all we do. You know, I don't think neither fan base would be that pissed off. I honestly don't. But can Baltimore bounce from this win to springboard to another much-needed win this weekend against New England? But specifically, what do they need to address on offense from what you saw this weekend that they can continue to build on?
Hey man, look, they was able to get 100 yards out of Derrick Henry, and he only touched the ball 11 times. That's why. For me, I need to see Lamar run the ball a little bit. He ran a few times this weekend, but Lamar got sacked 4 times in this game by the Bengals. All teams, the Bengals defense. Lamar got sacked 4 times in this game. He had an interception because of Zay Flowers didn't catch the ball and hit it into the other defender's hand. I just think going down this stretch, man, the defense is gonna have to tighten their shot game up, and Derrick Henry got to touch the ball more than 11 times in the game. I don't care. I know that he came out, and after they was up like 24-9, they pulled him out a little bit. But I need King Henry to have at least 25 touches a game, and the defense to show up for the Ravens to go deep into the playoffs.
You're right.
I don't think it can all be put on Lamar. They got to be able to control that offensive line, and the defense is going to have to step up.
Yeah, you're right, man. This past weekend really opened my – well, I wouldn't say opened my eyes, but it kind of readdressed how I am judging Lamar Jackson this year, and I'm going to tell you why. with Patrick Mahomes' injury, with Micah Parsons' injury, with Devontae Adams' hamstring pull. No one knows your body better than you. A hammy is something that is extremely sensitive, and once you pull it, that is going to be that nagging injury, usually the rest of that season, whether you're a football player, basketball player, baseball player, hockey player, soccer player, tennis player, it does not matter. It is going to be something that you're going to be concerned about and that you're going to compensate for. We saw how Devontae re-aggravated his injury by going full speed, having a burst. Lamar is nursing himself alone, I believe, which has obviously affected his run game. We know that instantaneously. And also affecting the passing game because of that inconsistency in the receiving core and the inability to have a passing game that can hopefully with a offensive coordinator that refuses to give Derrick Henry the ball like he's supposed to. 11 touches, even though they were 400 plus yards. 11 touches. 11 touches. Really? I don't care how much offensive success we are having. Unless Derrick Henry is hobbled, we should give him the ball at least 20 times every single game. And it's going to cost y'all, Jordan, if you don't continue to put that pressure on your offense to make sure that it is run first, especially with a quarterback that is not in tip-top shape. So we'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots in a bit. The defense, inconsistent at times, but they are going to do enough to keep the Baltimore Ravens in games. And they need to win out because the Pittsburgh Steelers looks like they found a new gear after beating a tough Miami Dolphin team.
See, you couldn't even keep a straight face when you said that.
Oh man, hey, the Steelers did what they were supposed to do this last night, but the question is, can they hold off a Baltimore Ravens team, especially the Ravens find a way to beat the Patriots this weekend? Because the Steelers have a big one themselves.
I've been saying, but the Steelers' path to the playoffs is a whole lot easier than the Ravens' path to the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. As far as remaining games, based off what the papers say.
Right.
Well,
I don't know about that now. I don't know about that
you don't
because,
know about that?
and here's the reason why is the Steelers beat a Miami Dolphins team that was hobbled. We knew going in that the Miami Dolphins historically don't play well in the elements, and this was one of those elements games late December or early January that has always been a hindrance for the Dolphins, especially in 2025, since a lot of their playmakers are sidelined when injury. Now, for the Steelers, we understand as Steeler Nation, we have to win out if we want a division. We can't afford to lose one game because if Baltimore finds a way to win out and we lose one game, they have the division because they have the tiebreaker, at least right now. And Mike Tomlin, year 19, knows how to win these types of games. May not produce postseason success because it won't produce postseason success because like the early conversation that we had about those Chargers, whatever that number 5 seed is, they're going to go to the AFC North champions home place, whether that is in Pittsburgh or whether that is in Baltimore. I believe that number 5 seed will have the talent, will have the ability to play in the elements no matter what the elements are on that particular day and putting up enough points against either Baltimore's offense or Pittsburgh's offense because those two offenses have shown, at least in 2025, that they are so inconsistent. They could put up 30 points, but they could also put up 10 points. And 10 points is not going to be enough in the playoffs. So I have, out of all of the current division leaders, this is the one team that I have the least confidence in to win their division and win that first playoff game simply because of the inconsistency they've had throughout the season now. Will Mike Tomlin still have that perfect winning season record at the end of this year. You said their schedule is more favorable. This upcoming game that they have against the Detroit Lions this weekend is a huge game because they are traveling to Detroit. Detroit is still in the hunt. They want to get in the playoffs. Now, Detroit has an offense that we both know can light it up. Pittsburgh's defense, last time I checked, was one of the oldest and somewhat slowest defenses in the National Football League, especially against the run. And guess who has one of the fastest running backs in the National Football League? Detroit. Look for Mr. Gibbs to put some big numbers up against this Pittsburgh defense. Now, the question now is, can Aaron Rodgers go blow for blow with Jared Goff? What do you think?
He don't have the offense. He don't. They in order for the Pittsburgh to win this particular game, man, they're gonna have to be able to do what was done to the Detroit this weekend to be able to figure out a way to hold them two running backs down. When you start, if you look at the two offenses, Detroit definitely have the better offensive firepower on that side. Aaron Rodgers got Metcalf every now and then, but for the most part, it's his tight ends, the big boys, as he getting the balls to. I don't think they want to get into no scoring match with Detroit. I don't think they had the ability to do it.
Yeah, whether or not Gibbs is a tick faster or slower than Etienne, Miami is not Detroit, bro.
Man, he can say, "Hey, Troy, just say what he wants to, man." I mean, I'm taking Gibbs over H. I like H.M., but I'm taking Gibbs any day.
I'm gonna take Gibbs over Etienne too. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Man, he
So,
break that ankle, man. That joker
Week
look
15 came to a close. Again, major injuries to key players. Patrick Mahomes out for the rest of the year and the first half of 2026. Mike Parsons out for the rest of the year and the first half of 2026. And I could go down a list of key players on key team or key players for teams that suffered torn ACLs in 2025 that have sidelined them. A whole bunch of key players, not just average players. These are primetime performers who had their season ended with a torn ACL. I was one of the lucky ones to have gone through this very same injury. It's not as quick of a recovery as we all know. The timeline is usually a year, and in reality, it's more like 2 year to come back and the second year to get back to what you once were. So look for these players to be different when they do return. But the season ain't over. Let us get ready to roll in this week 16. But before we do that, man, the college football season finally wrapped up this past weekend. The final regular season game happened between the Army Black Knights and Navy Midshipmen. One more shout out to Navy for winning a tight game, but the regular season culminated with the presentation of the NCAA honors, and it started on Thursday, presenting key plus skilled position players those awards, and culminated on Friday or Saturday night with the presentation of the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman Trophy winner, as we both discussed on Friday night, was selected Mr. Fernando Mendoza from the Indiana Hoosiers, undefeated Indiana Hoosiers, the Big Ten champion Indiana Hoosiers. But his stats were somewhat average, but I got it. This class of finalists did not have those eye-popping numbers that you've seen in the past. It was more about the impact that I had on my team on the field against the opponents that we were facing on that day. So I believe the right decision was made as to who the MVP or the Heisman Trophy winner was, as we talked about on Friday night. And now all Mr. Mendoza has to do is back it up and win the Triple Crown as the best quarterback, the undefeated Big Ten champions, and win the national championship. If you do that, nobody can question whether or not you were legitimately the champ as it pertains to the Heisman. So, congratulations to you on that aspect. You got anything to offer for?
I mean, the
Mendoza?
Heisman's supposed to be. I mean, we call the Heisman is for the best player in the country. One, I would say this. First of all, I don't like the way they do the voting because the ballots don't go out to the 1st of December, which means they really just looking at most of the voters are going off of what they just recently seen. I would say if you look at all four of these players up here, one, I'm a running back guy, so Jeremiah Love would have been my guy, just what he done. I love him. But then look at the three quarterbacks and tell me who played against the most talent this whole season and who was the most valuable player amongst his team. It's Pavia. Pavia's problem was his arrogance and his swag. It got him in trouble, man. I mean, he was the number two guy, but if you look at his numbers compared to Mendoza's numbers and who Mendoza played, man, for me, Pavia was a better player, man. I mean, I feel bad. He messed his stuff up, and then he hurt his situation even more when he go to X and start saying F the voters and all this other stuff. So then he got to come back and dial that thing back. But I just think he was the better player of the people that you've seen up on the screen.
Yeah. I agree with every single point that you made. But at the exact same time, even though the opponents or the quality of the opponents was much tougher in the SEC for Pavia, and that is saying a big thing because the Big Ten is that other rival conference that has just as good of teams, just not as many good teams as the Southeastern Conference. But Pavia faced that level of tenacity and aggressiveness from those opposing teams' defense every single weekend, and he shined in those moments. He put a university on the map as it pertains to football because up to 2 years ago, didn't nobody care about Vanderbilt.
Everybody scheduled for homecoming.
Yeah, and I agree that he was more deserving of the award, but the only disagreement I would offer is that the votes go out on the 1st of December because you want to have all of the performances from each one of these Heisman candidate players, right? You don't want to vote on Thanksgiving and then one of the Heisman finalists goes and throws for 500 yards and leads his team to his conference championship. Then
Let me ask you this, Drew.
for a guy who got 1,200 rushing yards, kind of looks silly.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Mendoza would have won if they lost to Ohio State?
No.
Then so you say who would have won? Salem?
I believe Pavia would have won if Ohio State would have defeated the Indiana Hoosiers, right? Because Ohio State was expected to win. Sayan's numbers did not warrant him being a finalist, but his position as the Ohio State Buckeyes quarterback got him to be a finalist. That is the only reason he was a finalist. You said it yourself. His receivers' numbers, even though he was throwing them the ball, were more warranted of being considered. So the only reason that Mendoza won is because the Indiana Hoosiers are the Big Ten champs and they are undefeated, 13-0. That's it. I'm not going to lie. 2,900 yards? Come on, man.
Yes.
2,900 passing yards.
Shador had way more than that last year.
Yeah. Didn't the running back from the Boise State Cowboys, who is now on Troy's professional sports team, have just about the same amount as a running back last year? Stop it. We know Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy because of the undefeated season by their team. But still, congratulations to them. And man,
got the trophy, man. He'll be in the Heisman House commercials now.
Yes, sir. And Pavia, he had it's good to have bravado on the field, but once you're off the field, you have to put on your thinking cap, good man.
He got a lawsuit right now trying to get him another year in college football, so maybe he can compete for it next year.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, but congratulations once more to Fernando Mendoza and his entire family. This is an accomplishment that will live on for the rest of your life, sir. You are a Heisman Trophy winner from this day forward until the day you take your last breath. You are in the history books. Now, the 2025 college football playoffs are upon us. Griff, the time is now. Prove it. First game in the shoot, the Alabama Crimson Tide are traveling to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Oklahoma Sooners, a team that has beat them not only this year, but this past year. So 2 consecutive years that the Alabama Crimson Tide have had the Oklahoma Sooners in their sights, both in Norman and in Tuscaloosa. Alabama came up short. Both years, Alabama was the better team. Both games, Alabama was the better team, but they took an L both times under head coach DeBoer. Just like Alabama is Georgia's what is that thing?
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite, yes. Oklahoma might be Alabama's kryptonite. So what do we have to do as a Tide Alabama guy to go into Norman and make sure that y'all win this playoff game? Because we all know it's one and done in the playoffs.
It's a road game, man. It's gonna be tough playing in Norman at night too, and it's gonna be cold. It's just turnovers, man. The difference in the 2 losses that Alabama had was turnovers. The Oklahoma offense was not better than the Alabama offense at all. Alabama had turnovers at times that they didn't need to have turnovers. So they want to win this game. They have to continue to have the same intensity on defense that they had, but not get a ball and give Oklahoma opportunities to win the game. That's how they won last time.
Harold said the winner of this game gonna get eliminated in the next game anyway.
It's all good. Just like Ole Miss gonna be eliminated.
Man, Griff, there is cause for concern in Tuscaloosa. Traditionally, no matter where Alabama plays, you can expect Alabama to play ball control if they need to play ball control by having a solid run game. That is non-existent for the Alabama Crimson Tide in 2025. I have a better opportunity to create a run game for y'all than what y'all have done all season. And that is mind-boggling to me because this is not Alabama football. This is not SEC football where we traditionally hang our hat on the run game and then we build outward if we got a quarterback with an arm. Coach DeBoer is bringing in an offensive philosophy that is killing us. It's altering the way that Alabama approaches big games. And this is the biggest game of the year because this is a win or go home game for you guys. You can travel to Normal, Oklahoma and win this game because as I've said throughout this year and in previous years about the Oklahoma Sooners, I simply don't have the confidence in them to rise up to the occasion when all of the chips are on the line. They've never shown up in the playoffs. They've made the playoffs multiple years, but they never show up in a big game because I personally believe they don't have that playoff pedigree to continuously compete with an SEC type team. But now they are that SEC team. And the biggest dog in the SEC yard, at least over the past 25 years, has been the Alabama Crimson Tide. And in the past 2 years, the Oklahoma Sooners, who Griff still say is a Big 12 team and not an SEC team, has beaten that big dog both times. So it provides a moment of pause. That confidence that we have in the Alabama Crimson Tide when the playoffs come to show up, bro, that was under Nick Saban. I don't know who this dude is. I don't have that confidence in you, Griff. I don't know. Can Alabama go into Norman without a run game and a pass game that has tailed off over the past month and have the success that you would expect an Alabama team to be able to do to win a game in an environment that is not only going to be hostile, but as you said, it's going to be in the elements. It's going to be nice and chilly in Norman, Oklahoma on Friday night. Kickoff at 8 p.m. when we start our show. So by the time we hit into the fourth quarter, it's going to be down into the 20s, I'm pretty sure, because it get kind of windy in Oklahoma in December. I don't think y'all got what it takes to win this game, Griff. we always say go with the SEC team. Well, these are two SEC traditional powerhouses on the national stage, not in conference, but on the national stage. You got your team, right?
I got my team, man, and I'm gonna stay beside them. It's
Yeah,
mine, and I'm
man.
gonna stay beside 'em.
Man, I have never trusted the Oklahoma Sooners to win any big game. Uh, I can't start now. As Griff always says, that other team that is in the state of Alabama that is not the Auburn Tigers, that's the team that I'm going with this weekend.
Okay. Who for the rounds? We accept that.
So I think y'all win a close one. Y'all find a way, whether it be the ghost of Nick Saban creating a turnover or Williams going off as a receiver and Simpson having a good throwing game or passing game. Alabama finds a win and win a close one and ends Oklahoma's season. So looking forward to that game on Friday night. But that kicks off the college football playoff season for college football. But ladies and gentlemen, the last 2-3 weeks of the National Football League, we have the biggest games of the year. And it starts this Thursday, Week 16 action in Seattle, where you have the 12th man welcoming in the hottest team in the National Football League that we talked about earlier, the Los Angeles Rams, with the hottest quarterback in the National Football League and the front runner for the 2025 NFL MVP, Matthew Stafford, the 37-year-old who looks like he's more like 27 and playing like he's at 27. Going against Sam Darnold, who still trying to find his sea legs 6, 7, 8 years into his young career. Griff, we obviously know that the Los Angeles Rams have the better offense, at least at this point in the season. So I'm not going to ask you which quarterback you trust more. I'd be a fool to think that you would trust Mr. Arnold than Sam Darnold than Matthew Stafford. So I'm not going to ask you that question. My question is, can the Seattle defense that has one of the better defenses in 2025, along with one of the best hometown stadiums where you're going to have an advantage. And we said when these two teams played a month or so ago that even though the Los Angeles Rams won that game because Sam Darnold gave the ball away 4 times, they had to win it on the last second kick. With 4 turnovers, Seattle still had a chance to win. Can the Rams reverse the tides and go into Seattle and into that environment and win a crucial game, not only for the division, but the number 1 overall seed this weekend?
Oh, I mean, you said can the Rams go in there?
The Rams go into Seattle, and the Rams offense minus Devontae Adams, with everything else that they have, go up against a Coach McDonald-led defense and have the offensive success that they are going to need to beat a Seattle defense that is one of the best defenses in the league.
Hey, man, first of all, big shout out to my boy Joey, man. And yeah, I definitely make sure I check. Check out the chat, everybody, Roundtable family. One of our own guys, Joey, his nephew plays with Delaware. That's with ain't that Deshaun Jackson team?
Yeah, Delaware State.
With Delaware
State.
And he's a true freshman, man, playing cornerback out there, and they playing in a championship game. So I definitely be chiming into that. Seattle has a great defense, man, and I think they're gonna be able to put some pressure on Matthew Stafford and his offense, but defenses get tired. And what I've seen with the Seattle Seahawks offense here lately, they ain't sustaining drives, man. They got the defense out there on the field, and defenses get tired, man. I think the Rams is the hottest ticket in the game right now, and I think even though they go into Seattle playing against that 12th man, I still think they can go up there and win this game.
You're absolutely right? And you look at these two teams, and I don't know why. I don't know how. I can't explain it, but at the exact same time, I can't legitimately justify it. If the Rams were to go up to Seattle and win this game, nobody is surprised. If the Rams were to go up to Seattle and lose this game and to fall to the 5th position, 6th position, or 7th position in the National Football League playoff seeding, no one would be worried because we have the confidence that whether they are the number 1 seed or the number 7 seed, that they can still go to the Super Bowl. If the Seattle Seahawks lose this game and are now the 5, 6, or 7 seed, you're now concerned because they don't have the same oomph as the Los Angeles Rams, even though they're both sitting at 11-3, even though they're both one of the better teams in the National Football League. And at one point in the season, they were the best team in the National Football League, whether it be because of offensive success or whether it be because of defensive dominance. Well, we are where we are at this point where the division is on the line. This game is going to, for all intents purposes, unless they collapse in the last 2 weeks, decide who the division winner is going to be. You mentioned earlier in the show that the San Francisco 49ers sitting at 10-4, looking at both of them like, yeah, y'all go and beat each other up. Matter of fact, both of y'all go ahead and tie so we can have a Dallas type of situation where we all end up with 4 losses at some point at the end of this season or at the end of this season. And because y'all have a tie, we are now the division champs. Neither one of these teams can take the other team lightly. Matthew Stafford and that offense is going to be able to go into Seattle and have some defensive success. But as you mentioned, this is the closest that we are going to see as you would any defense for the Seattle Seahawks to the Legion of Boom in the 10, 15 years ago window that you're going to see. You have that front line that Griff touted on Friday night. They didn't have that type of success this weekend against the Colts, but they have the ability to get after the quarterback, and they're going to get after that 37-year-old. I got it. He has one of the best arms. Puka Nacua can win any 50-50 ball against any defensive back, and it's going to require him making some phenomenal catches this week or Thursday night to have the Los Angeles Rams where they want to be in the fourth quarter. The difference maker in this game is the Los Angeles Rams run game against that Seattle defensive run defense. Do we have a repeat of a 200-yard type of performance from that Los Angeles Rams run game? Or do we have a Seattle defense that keeps them under 100 yards and applies that pressure to Matthew Stafford? And hopefully Sam Darnold doesn't have another 4 turnover type of game. I'm pretty sure Coach McDonald is not going to put him in a situation where he has another 4 turnover type of game. You still have one of the best receivers in the league with his numbers in Smith, right? You have Shaheed that you brought in from the trade from the Saints, who can score both as a receiver and that we've seen as a punt returner or a kickoff returner. So you have that third option. And that is what it's going to take for the Seattle Seahawks to be able to win this game because the Rams are the better offense. The defenses, Seattle has a slight edge, but it's going to take a special teams big play for either one of these two teams to have the leg up and win this game. And whether it happens for the home team or for the visiting team, who do you have? You said the Rams, Griff?
I got the Rams in this game.
I'm
going to say the Rams by a field goal.
If I would put money on this, I would say the Rams were going to win. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the home team wins this game simply because of the home field advantage and the defense being able to make a big play and or special teams being the difference maker. I think a special teams play is going to be the difference maker, and it will give the Seattle Seahawks the edge. So I got the Seahawks winning this one on Thursday night, but obviously this is going to be the biggest Thursday night game of the calendar year for any team. Looking forward to it. Now, a couple of games this weekend that I wanted to highlight before we pack up the show for the night, man. We had some key losses this weekend. The Packers took a big L. They lost a game, lost a division lead, lost their best defensive player, lost the best player on their team, and could quite possibly lose it all this upcoming Saturday night. They play against Chicago for the division, basically. Right, because the remaining team games that these teams have, they should be favored to win. But this is a toss-up game because Green Bay has taken some key injuries both on the offensive side and on the defensive side. You mentioned one of the receivers going down earlier in the show. The unpredictability of Jordan Love. I said he was going to give Denver one or two on defense to give Denver that chance to win the game. And that's exactly what happened. They're going into Chicago. They're going into Soldier Field to take on, dare I say, one of the top three hottest teams in the National Football League, because they've won the last 9 of their 11 games, right? Before that L they gave to Green Bay last weekend. They have the opportunity to get a little bit of revenge. Green Bay has been severely hobbled since that last game 2 weeks ago. Do you now have faith in Caleb to lead his home team to a dub this weekend, Griff? Or you still got faith in Jordan Love?
No, man. I got faith in the Bears defense and their running game. That's what I got faith in those two. And that's the big. I ain't taking nothing from Caleb. I still think it's some growing with Caleb. But the way Green Bay is playing, we're gonna be talking about turn the lights off next week.
Oh yeah,
turn them off.
Turn them off. I don't know, man. Like I said at the top of the show, I reminded everybody that several weeks ago, I did not believe that the Green Bay Packers were going to make the playoffs. And I still believe that the Green Bay Packers are not going to make the playoffs. And here's the reason why, that I believe that the Chicago Bears are going to win this game. What surprised me about the Chicago Bears is how they performed against a 3-10 team this past weekend against the Cleveland Browns. I picked the Chicago Bears to lose that game against that 3-10 Cleveland Browns team because I thought this was the perfect trap game. Cleveland Browns have one of the better defenses. They were going to get after Caleb Williams, and what Shadur Sanders and that offense has shown over the past couple of weeks is that they are going to be competitive. And I believe that the Cleveland Browns were going to play a whole lot better than what they did. What the Chicago Bears did was completely shut them down and blew them out of that game and showed that Caleb Williams can lead his team. Not lose the game, but actually lead his team to the victory. And that gave them a whole lot of confidence because the expectations going into this past weekend was somewhat suspect. And Troy, I will not forget, I will save my picks for this weekend's game because for some reason I just keep forgetting to save my daggone picks, but I'm going to get it this weekend.
I might as well forget mine. It don't make a difference, man. I might as well.
It don't make no difference. But like you mentioned, man, the run game with their Chicago's version of the dual-headed monster with Swift and how Caleb has evolved here over the past calendar month in the passing game. Chicago has needed some of that late game miracle type of play from key playmakers, and Caleb Williams has been there stepping up in those key moments to get his team in a position to give them a chance to win. Sometimes with his legs, sometimes with his arm in tight windows, and he has made key throws at key times in those big games to show us that he can at least be trusted to not lose it. And I don't believe that he is going to lose this game this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit more about this game on Friday night, being that this game is a Saturday night game for the NFL. But I believe Chicago is going to win this game because of what the Packers have experienced over the past couple of weeks, the unpredictability of Jordan Love's accuracy, and the pressure that both Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love now feel because going into this season, there were a whole lot of lofty expectations. I got it. The injury bug has bit them, but we are now at the point where the finish line is right there. You just have to reach out and grab it. And I think the Green Bay Packers come up short and lose not only this game, but don't make the playoffs. We talked about the Baltimore Ravens, man, earlier. Get a ball to Derrick Henry. Get a ball to Derrick Henry. Get a ball to Derrick Henry. Well, they're going to have to get a ball to Derrick Henry a whole lot this weekend if they want a chance to even be in the playoffs because New England Patriots salty from losing that game they should have won against the Buffalo Bills, where they could have wrapped up the division. But can they now wrap up the division this weekend against a Baltimore Ravens team that is fighting for its playoff life, knows that this game is just as critical, has still the best player physically talented in the entire league with Lamar Jackson. King Henry is still King Henry. What did we see from the New England Buffalo second half that the Baltimore Ravens can implement in their offense and exploit in their game plan to ensure that they keep Mike Vrabel's defense on its heels and take advantage of everything that Buffalo had at its disposal, because Baltimore's offense is better than Buffalo's offense, in my opinion. What can they do to ensure that Jordan is not pulling his hair out?
Well, what the Bills did in the second half of that game was they was able to get Josh Allen to use his legs and get Cook more involved in it. The first half, man, they only had 35 yards in that first half of that game. So that defense was doing their thing, but they made their adjustments. I just think, man, hey, they gonna take Derrick Henry out of this game. Y'all gonna have, matter of fact, I think Ravens gonna have that defense play. Hey, y'all gonna have to beat me with other than Henry. You gonna have to. They're gonna force Lamar to have to throw that ball, or with that hamstring thing. I don't see it. I think the lights is gonna be turned off on the Ravens as well. We're gonna be playing Teddy P for the next.
Playing Teddy P for the rest of the year.
He's gonna be in rotation. Teddy P gonna be in the rotation.
I don't know, man. If in 2025 at least right now where we are, what is a bigger threat for the Baltimore Ravens? Their running game or their passing game? You really don't know. They have the ability to hurt you from both the running game and the passing game. So if the game plan for Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots is to stop Derrick Henry, if it is to ensure that we are putting the ball in Lamar's hands and putting the pressure on him to collapse the pocket so that he does not have the ability to escape, so he can't use his legs, and make him beat us with his arm. He has the weapons to do it. They just got to catch the ball.
This ain't the Bengals, though. This ain't the Bengals. They playing against a much better defense this week.
I understand that, but they just have to catch the ball. Zay Flowers has the ability. I don't care who is on the New England Patriots defense. He has the ability to get separation. So I'm not worried about Zay Flowers getting separation. Andrews as a tight end, likely as a tight end, automatically going to create separation because their opportunities are going to come in zones where you're throwing in the pockets. They just got to catch the ball when Lamar throws it to them and making sure that he is accurate. And Baltimore does have a shot at winning this game. I'm not going to summarily dismiss their chance and say that, hey, the lights are going to get turned off.
Turn them off.
He is going to make an appearance, but we going to see. Turn them off. And this is the Sunday night game. So this is going to be a huge game. Again, at M&T Bank Stadium, where it's going to be right off of the water. So we don't know what type of weather we're going to have on Sunday, whether or not wind is going to be a factor, whether or not it's going to be snow in the forecast for Baltimore on Sunday night. Looking forward to this one. We'll talk more about this one on Friday night. This past weekend, Griff, again, man, 2 weeks in a row, I didn't know whether to be happy or pissed. Those daggone Saints did what they were not supposed to do and won and completely shook up the NFC South once again, where nobody seems like they want to get that division. Well, guess what? The same thing can be said and should be said about the AFC North, because the Baltimore Ravens, we just talked about them sitting at 7-6. Don't know whether or not they want to show up for the playoffs, and I can make that same argument, or Baltimore at 7-7. I can make that same argument about the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 8-6. We talked about how they beat the Jets. If they hadn't beaten the Jets or the Dolphins last night, we would have real questions about them. They are traveling to Detroit. Again, we talked about what Detroit can do. We talked about Detroit needing this dub, especially after coming off of that L they took against the Rams. This isn't a foregone conclusion that Pittsburgh has what it takes to be able to win this game. I got it. Both of these two teams are 8-6, but there are levels to certain records, right? Just like we talked about the confidence, at least for me, the confidence that I have in an 11-3 Rams losing this game on Thursday and still being good enough to win the Super Bowl, as compared to the level of confidence I don't have in the same 11-3 Seattle Seahawks to lose this game and being able to go to the Super Bowl. There are two differences in these two 8-6 teams. I believe that the Lions can travel and win. I don't believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers can travel and win. Do the Steelers have a legitimate shot in this game? And what do they need to do on offense against a Lions defense that is completely depleted to ensure Aaron Rodgers is putting up points? Because that's what it's going to take.
Hey man, they gotta go back and look at the Rams Detroit tape, figure out how to stop them running backs from controlling that game. TJ Watt and them got to be able to get some pressure on golf, man. But
in a dome, weather is not a factor.
Turn them off.
Turn them off for which team?
I think it's hey.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. This game is
on Friday. Yeah, Friday, man. Friday. We'll talk about it on Friday.
Yeah.
The question you asked me is the question is they need to be able to stop that dual head. They can't let Gibbs and Montgomery get started.
Right.
Figure out a way how to do that and figure out who else on the Steelers offense other than Metcalf can contribute to help extend drives.
Yeah. And if I had to select three specific players that I believe are going to ball out, Gibbs, Williams for the Detroit Lions, or St. Brown, one of those two, and DK Metcalf. Because the Detroit Lions defense is not going to be able to stop DK Metcalf. They're not going to be able to apply enough pressure on Aaron Rodgers to slow the Pittsburgh Steelers offense down enough to where Metcalf won't ball out. It is just whether or not, like you said, somebody else is able to show up to help Metcalf and give Aaron Rodgers another target to focus on. And on the Detroit side, like I said early in the show, Pittsburgh is one of the oldest defenses. They are not going to be able to slow down that Gibbs and Montgomery connection. Look for Gibbs to break one, maybe two.
All righty. You heard it here first, people.
I'm just saying. And the question would now be whether or not Pittsburgh can get those happy feet of Jared Goff to create a turnover to give them a shot. But going into this game, Detroit is favored, and Detroit is favored for a reason because Detroit is the better team. If Detroit doesn't win this game, Detroit has done it to themselves, and Dan Campbell has taken unnecessary chances in a game that all he has to do is play Detroit 3-1-3 football, and y'all should win, no matter who the opponent is on the opposite side, especially this weekend. I got it, Mike Tomlin and these Pittsburgh Steelers are focused and laser locked on winning their division because they know this game is critical. But if Detroit plays Detroit football, they should win. We'll talk about more on Friday. But I'm leaning with the 3-1-3. I may change my mind.
You got at least 72 hours to think about it.
I got 72 hours to think about it, right? Man, phenomenal show. A lot of good football happened this past weekend. A lot of hopes and dreams were dashed depending on what team that you support. And if your team is still in it, you're in it to win it. So looking forward to the college football playoffs kicking off this weekend with the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll talk about the Miami Dolphins or the Miami Hurricanes and Texas A&M on Friday night and those other games. Man, Griff.
Good show, brother. Good show as always.
As always, man. You got any inspirational words? You got any inspirational words for your Tide to lead them into this game on Friday?
Roll Tide. That's all you have to say.
Come on there.
All we got to do is say Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. I'll be in Alabama to watch the game. I'll be heading to Alabama tomorrow to spend the holidays at home. But big shout out to the round table family, man. Joy will definitely be chiming in and take a look at your nephew, man. That's awesome. But as always, man, big shout out. Thank y'all for showing up and showing out. I see y'all in the comment section, and I appreciate y'all. And I look forward to seeing everybody back here on Friday, man. Make sure y'all bring up, hey, the holiday season is about to break. Ain't nobody doing that. Make sure you bring a family member or two and get them in the comment section so they can come and we can have a little fun and be harassed by Troy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I echo those very sentiments. Thank you all for your continued support. As Griff mentioned, thank you for the feedback and the commentary that you provided tonight, depending on the game that we were talking about. These past weekends showed that injuries are going to continue to play a big role in who is going to eventually raise the trophy at the end of the year, no matter if you're in the NCAA or you're in the NFL. Injuries at key moments can happen to key players, and you can't put all of your eggs in one basket. You have to diversify your portfolio, as they would say, and make sure that you have multiple players available to who can make those big plays. And we saw that this weekend for some teams. We didn't see that for other teams, which is why those teams have been eliminated. Looking forward to this upcoming weekend. The bowl season officially begins in the college football. We have kind of set that aside, focusing a whole lot on the college football playoffs. But the traditional bowl season, now that the regular season has in it, shall begin this weekend, starting today, if I'm not mistaken, or tomorrow with the first bowl game. And depending on what team is your team that's your personal favorite, let us know, and we'll make sure to provide a little bit of coverage and analysis for that game, either preview and or feedback, depending on which team and which game and which day that bowl is being played upon. Looking forward to the discussion on Friday. We'll see in real time while we're talking about this weekend's games, how Alabama is looking, how Oklahoma is looking, since that game kicks off at 8 o'clock on Friday night. So do the picture-in-picture side-by-side as y'all used to do to make sure that you're catching up both on the game and on the show, because we expect to see y'all, as Griff said, as we transition into this holiday period, to continue to share the platform's material and bring a friend. Everybody has an opinion about what should be happening on the field, because we're all couch coaches at some point in real time. So y'all have a great and phenomenal week. Take care of yourselves. As we always say, if the opportunity presents itself, make sure, first and foremost, you are staying hydrated, stay warm, especially with the cold weather. Take care of yourselves, take care of your family, do something nice for yourselves and do something nice for your family. And if given the opportunity to do something nice for somebody that you may not even know, because it just might be the best thing that happens to them on that particular day. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all be breezy.